Your personality is not keeping you safe. It is the very thing that is marking you as prey. Think about nature. Who wears the brightest colors? Who puffs up their chest and screams, "I am here, I am formidable"? It is the creature that knows it is terrified. Every time you polish your social persona, every time you rehearse what you're going to say to sound intelligent or spiritual or together, you are broadcasting a specific signal to the universe. You are screaming, "I am a fraud, I am hiding, come and find me." Welcome to Socrates, the discipline of being awake. If you've been following my work on spiritual deconstruction, you know we usually talk about the nervous system, trauma, and the mechanisms of energetic defense. But to understand the ultimate defense, we have to go back to the source. We have to look at the man who invented the art of spiritual surgery. We are not here to talk about Socrates, the dusty philosopher found in textbooks. We are here to talk about Socrates, the dismantling engine, the man who realized that the self we so carefully construct is actually a parasite. This is episode 1, The Mask and the False Self. Most of us move through life believing we are the main character in a very specific story. We have a name, a job, a set of beliefs, a political stance. We spend 20, 30, 40 years reinforcing the walls of this character. We call it building an identity. But here is the trap. The more solid your identity becomes, the more energy you must hemorrhage to defend it. You become a fortress. And fortresses are built for one thing, to be besieged. Today, we are going to look at the mechanics of the imposter. We are going to use the Socratic method not as an intellectual exercise, but as a scalpel to excise the tumor of the false self. Let's look at the mechanics of this. What actually is a persona? In the ancient Greek theater, the actors wore large, rigid masks called prosopon. The mask allowed the actor to project a voice and a character to the back of the amphitheater. It was a tool. It was useful. But imagine if the actor walked off stage, went home, ate dinner, and slept next to his wife, never taking the mask off. Imagine if, over 20 years, the skin of his face began to grow into the wood of the mask. The sweat, the bacteria, the friction, until he could no longer tell where his flesh ended and the painted wood began. This is what we have done, and it has a biological cost. In the dialogue, Alcibiades, they see Socrates corners a young, ambitious politician named Alcibiades. Alcibiades is beautiful, wealthy, and convinced of his own power. He is the ultimate main character. But Socrates stops him and asks a terrifyingly simple question. What is the self? He forces Alcibiades to admit that the user of a tool is different from the tool itself. If you use a knife to cut, you are not the knife. If you use your eyes to see, you are not your eyes. If you use your body to move through the world, are you the body? Or are you the thing using the body? Most of us are identified with the tool. We are identified with the armor. Feel your body right now. Notice the tension in your jaw, the tightness in your solar plexus. That is not just stress. That is the muscular effort required to hold the mask in place. It takes an immense amount of caloric energy to be you. When you walk into a chaotic room, or a family gathering, or a high-stakes meeting, notice the instinct to tighten. You ziplock your aura. You prepare your talking points. You harden your shell. You are trying to present a version of yourself that is impervious to attack. But this is the paradox. Vulnerability is the ultimate armor. The stone can be crushed, the water cannot. By identifying with the mask, the knower, the good person, the success, you become solid. And because you are solid, you can be shattered. Socrates saw this. He saw that the citizens of Athens were walking around in a coma, suffocated by their own self-importance. And he knew that the only way to wake them up was to perform surgery. This brings us to the imposter. I hear this term constantly in high-performing circles and spiritual communities. Imposter syndrome. We treat it like a disorder, something to be cured with affirmations and confidence training. But let's look at this through the lens of radical invincibility. What if the feeling of being an imposter is not a malfunction? What if it is the only part of you that is telling the truth? You feel like an imposter because you are one, not because you are not talented, not because you are unworthy, but because the identity you are presenting to the world is a fabrication. The you that claims to know what it is doing is a mask. Deep down, your nervous system knows this. It knows that the map is not the territory. In the Apology, which is essentially Socrates' death row defense, he delivers the famous line, "I do not think I know what I do not know." The Oracle of Delphi claimed Socrates was the wisest man in Athens. Socrates thought this was a cosmic joke. He spent his life looking for someone wiser, politicians, poets, craftsmen. He found that they all had the same sickness. Because they were skilled in one area, they believed they were wise in all areas. They wore the mask of the knower. Socrates realized his only advantage was that he had no mask. He was naked, he stood in the storm of ignorance and admitted, "I am empty." This is the terror we are running from. We build the imposter because we are terrified of the void. We are terrified that if we stop pretending to be competent, if we stop pretending to be holy, if we stop pretending to be right, we will cease to exist. So we construct a false self, and then we spend our lives defending it. Think about the exhaustion of that. Think about the spiritual warfare you feel constantly engaged in. You are defending a fortress that doesn't even house a king. You are defending an empty room. The Socratic method is often taught as a way to win arguments. That is a gross trivialization. The Socratic method is a mechanism for inducing the state of aporia, perplexedness, helplessness. It is designed to strip away the false answers you cling to until you are left floating in the nothingness. To the ego, aporia feels like death. To the spirit, it is the first breath of air. So, where do we go if we don't shield, if we don't build a persona? Socrates tells us the unexamined life is not worth living. This is not a call to keep a diary. This is a call to constant, ruthless self-autopsy. It is the willingness to look at every belief, every fear, and every identity marker you possess and ask, is this me, or is this just something I picked up to survive? I spent 20 years reinforcing my walls, trying to be the spiritual teacher, the guide. It was exhausting. It made me fragile. Every criticism felt like a spear because I was solid enough to be hit. The practice of Socratic removal is to notice the contraction of the mask, and instead of tightening, you open. You lean into the accusation. If someone calls you a fool, the mask wants to fight back. The mask screams, "No, I am smart." But the Socratic self, the true self, pauses and asks, "Am I? Do I really know anything?" When you stop defending the image of yourself, you become transparent. The arrow passes right through you. There is nothing for the negativity to stick to. This is the end of the us versus them mentality. This is the end of the imposter because you are no longer claiming to be anything. You are simply the space in which the experience is happening. It feels counterintuitive. It feels dangerous. It feels like walking naked into a storm, but I promise you, the storm is only dangerous to the things that resist it. The wind cannot break the wind. The void cannot be cut by a knife. When you drop the mask, when you finally admit, "I am not this name, I am not this job, I am not this trauma," you are no longer a target. You are the environment itself. We are going to go deeper into this in the coming episodes. We will look at how to navigate the world without the armor, how to engage in conflict without becoming solid. But for this week, I want you to try something. Identify one mask you wear. Maybe it's the strong one in your family. Maybe it's the intellectual at work. Just notice the weight of it. Notice how heavy it is to carry that shield and ask yourself, who would I be if I put this down? If this series resonates with you, if you are tired of the exhaustion of maintaining the false self, make sure you are subscribed. We are building a cohort of people who are ready to stop performing and start living. Your story might just be the key that helps someone else find the courage to put down their armor. You are definitely not alone.